In this video, I attempt to survive 100 days in Minecraft Hardcore. Now, imagine playing Minecraft where you know that any mistake you make or any slip up you do could result in your whole world getting deleted, losing you hours and hours of hard work. And you might ask yourself why on earth anyone would want to do this challenge, and well, here we are. So before I do get into the 100 days, there are a few things I want to achieve. One of them being killing the Ender Dragon, the second one being getting full diamond armor, and the third one being getting full netherite tools. So without any delay, let the 100 days begin. Day 1. As I spawned into this world, I looked around my surroundings and spotted a village. This was great. After that, I found a desert temple and I decided to go loot it. This also nearly lost my life because I apparently forgot that fall damage was a thing. Of course, I did loot it, but then I forgot that I didn't have a way out, so I had to dig my whole way out of this desert temple, which was painful. I then decided to rob some hay bale from the village to then craft into wheat. After that, I realised I needed a bed, so I decided to rob this bed off a poor villager, and he's probably not going to be too happy about that one. But then after that, I decided to mine a tree so that I could then make some sticks and a crafting table, which would give me access to wood materials, which would be a massive upgrade from just mining with my fists. I also made some bread. After that, I decided to repeat the process of robbing, borrowing some hay bale off the villagers. I then found a brewing stand, which I knew would be useful later on in the game, and then after that, I decided to end my first ever day by sleeping. On day 2, I went back to the desert temple to mine some TNT. I then luckily found a water bucket inside a chest, so I decided to take it, and then I mined some stone in hopes that I could eventually make some stone materials. I then found some lava which I decided to put in my bucket so I could use it as a light source, and then I also mined some coal and made some stone materials so that I could mine a lot faster. And that was it for day 2. Day 3, I entered the depths of a cave in hopes of getting some valuable materials, and it was then when I found a mine shaft. I also then found my first bit of iron, which I was very excited to mine from. I then encountered a chest with some treasures in it, and it was then when I had my first mob encounter. It wasn't too dangerous, I must say, but I let my guard down, and when I let my guard down, I was ambushed with a cave spider. This was not looking good. I was poisoned and I was losing health at massive rates, so I decided to mine into the wall in hopes that I could eventually heal up. This ended up backfiring. I was ambushed with 3 cave spiders who all ended up attacking me. I was only this far away from death. I knew I had to do something, so I decided to hide until the cave spiders left me alone. After that, I decided to go mine some iron and some wood in this mine shaft to then make a shield to protect myself from hostile mobs. On day 4, I decided to mine out of the mine shaft, since staying in there any longer would have probably got me killed. And then afterwards, I decided to steal this poor villager's house and basically just dump all my items in this chest. And then after that, I decided to smelt some iron so I can make myself an iron chest plate. I then encountered a dog in the wild. Now, I'm not too sure what to name him, so I'm going to let you guys down in the comment section below decide his name. I then decided to spend the rest of the day chopping down some trees in order to get materials for my brand new home. Starting off day 6 to 10, I decided to put all the logs I chopped down from my tree mining session into a chest. And then with the apples I had, I decided to turn them into golden apples, just for extra safety. After that, I decided to enter the depths of the cave to mine some iron and some coal. I then built a little base inside the cave where I could just come back to smelt some of my things, and then after that I decided to make full iron tools and full iron armor. I then discovered an abandoned mine shaft. This, in my opinion, is one of the most dangerous structures, and I encountered 2 creepers already, so just to be safe, I decided to pop a golden apple, and it was then when I discovered a chest with some goodies in it, especially a name tag which I could use to name my dog. But then after that, I decided to start my strip mine, essentially on a y=11, in the hunt for some diamonds. And as you guys can see here, I found my first bit of diamonds and I could not be happier. A bit later I found my second bit of diamonds, and it was only a 1 vein, but then after that, as I was mining in my strip mine, I found 3 diamonds. After my mining trip I decided to mine back up to surface level, only to realise that it was midnight, so I decided to dig underground and stay up the whole night until daylight struck. On day 11 I made myself a compass and located my home, which took way too long to find. After that I decided to store everything I got from the mining trip into my chest so that my inventory was a lot less cluttered. Yes, I know, I have severe OCD. And then after that I smelted my ores, and that was it for day 11. On day 12 I collected some of my ores from the furnace. I also needed some leather, so I decided to kill these 2 llamas. After that I decided to go and get some sugarcane so I can make some paper, and then use the paper and leather to make 2 books. On day 13 I killed a donkey to get 1 piece of leather, which allowed me to make a book. This book was the final piece of book I needed to make a bookshelf, and with this bookshelf I made a lectern so that I could trade with villagers. I then found this villager, and after a while I was able to get a decent trade of 5 emeralds for an infinity book. I then found a house with many villagers inside of it, so I decided to do the only logical thing, which was to trap them and use them for their trades. Eventually I would turn this house into a bit of a breeder, but for now I was just going to trap the villagers in there and use them for their trades. On day 14 I accumulated 2 shiny emeralds by giving a villager 20 coal. After that I built a little farm and gathered a bunch of cows. Yes, this may not have been the prettiest farm, but it was somewhat of a start, and I did need a bit of a food source. I also traded 6 leather for an emerald and made myself a bow. On day 15 I realised that my villager trade was reset. I was devastated. I then decided to treat myself by making myself some diamond tools and some fresh iron tools as well. On day 16 I began refreshing my trades for this villager, however I had no luck at all, and the best trade I got was 24 paper for 1 emerald. So I decided to go with it and got myself a shiny emerald. Knowing that I would need a lot of paper to make myself a lot of emeralds, I decided to make myself a sugarcane farm, and before I slept I bred my cows. After that I decided to put some security measures in the house so that the villagers wouldn't be able to escape, and then I started recycling their trades. On day 18 I eventually got a trade for Fortune 2. This was actually very good, so I decided to go and grind some emeralds out by farming sugarcane. I then ended my day by breeding cows. On day 19 I began mining a lot of coal and iron, just in case I needed them since I was getting low on both materials. Day 20 I bred some cows and grinded for some emeralds. On day 21 I killed a few cows for leather so that I could make a few books. I then used this book to get my Fortune 2 book. I then made myself an anvil so I could enchant my diamond pickaxe. On day 22 I just bred my cows. From days 23 to 28 I was working on building my house. Here's what the inside looks like. On day 29 I mined some of the fences from the village in order for me to build a farm closer to my house. After that I bred some of my cows and even killed a few so I could get some leather and some meat. After that I built the farm. It wasn't the biggest, but it could do. On day 30 I worked on transferring my cows from my old farm to the new. I then bred some of my cows. Since they had more space, I could afford to breed more. After that I started working on a wheat farm so that I could have a sustainable source of food. On day 31 I placed fences around my farm so that we had no unexpected intruders, and then after that I made another little farm so that I could store some sheep in there. After that I farmed some sugarcane so I could then turn them into paper. And then after that I found some sheep and led them into their brand new home. I'm sure they'll love it here. After that I bred all my animals, and then I bone mealed my farm. I also noticed that the outside of my house was very bland, so I put some bone meal down on the ground to spice some things up. After that I kept on farming so that I could get more food, and then I made some bread with the wheat I got. I then realised I was going to need a lot of obsidian to enter the depths of the nether, so that's what I did for the rest of the day, and then to end things off, I killed a few endermen. Day 33, I started my day off by farming some wheat and sugarcane, and I made a few books to then make an enchantment table. I also made another portal with the obsidian I got, and then after that I got some flint to make flint and steel. Before entering the nether, I had to be prepared, so I killed a few cows for some steak, and then it happened. I went through the portal and entered the depths of the nether. Hours later, I finally found another fortress, and from there I began killing blazes. After that, I made myself some golden boots and a shield, so I could protect myself from the wild piglings. I encountered a hogling, but I struck him down luckily, and after that I began bartering with the piglings. Eventually, my time in the nether was finally over. I could not be happier to return back home, and I said hi to my dog. I then crafted some blaze powders using some blaze rods, and after that I made myself an ender chest. I also made some eyes of ender to locate the end portal, but it was then when I encountered a vindicator. Luckily it was easy for me to take him down, but on day 47 I continued farming in search of food. I then accidentally triggered a raid, but it was no problem since I was still able to trade my leather for 4 emeralds. I then went on a mining trip and found many valuables such as diamonds, gold and some iron. I then found the mob spawner. This would be great for getting XP. I then stored all my valuables in a chest from the mining trip and farmed some cows in search of food. I then bred some cows and sheep and made myself full diamond armor and full diamond tools. I then made some charcoal since I was low on coal. After that I began chopping down tree leaves so that I could make myself some golden apples since I didn't have any apples at the time. I then made 2 golden apples. After that I began farming some sugarcane so I could make myself some more paper. I then made myself some books with the paper and made myself some bookshelves. After that I began farming some wheat. I then bred my cows and sheep. And then after that I sheared some of my sheep to make some bed. On day 56 I farmed my cows and sheared my sheep again. After that I made some beds with the sheep and also made myself some more books and some more bookshelves. I then extended my farm since my current one was very small. I then also mined some sugarcane and farmed some of my animals for some food. I then looted a desert temple and here's what I got from it. With the saddle I got from the desert temple I tamed a horse so that was easier for me to travel and also built a little pen for it just because it looks cool. Also here's a desert temple I looted just in case you guys were interested. But after that I decided to go and kill a lot of cows in search of leather for books. On day 60 I decided to continue my daily morning routine, which was to farm my crops and breed my animals. I also sheared my sheep so that I could make beds for farming netherite in the future, and then after that I made books and bookshelves. I also then farmed some of my cows so I could have some steak. On days 61 to 62 I continued my spree of killing a lot of cows in search of leather so that I could make more and more bookshelves. I also killed this donkey since they have a 100% guaranteed rate of dropping leather. After that I found another desert temple and looted it, and also did not forget to get the TNT. After that I spotted a librarian's house, and that basically gave me all the books I needed to build a complete enchantment room. So that's what I did. On day 63 I decided to work on my enchantment setup so that I could finally enchant my stuff, and yeah, this was going to be massive in helping me defeat the Ender Dragon. On day 66 I started off by making a grindstone, mainly because I knew my enchantment luck was absolutely terrible, and yeah, after that I just started enchanting my diamond tools and diamond armor. I did have to grindstone a few things, but overall I'm actually quite happy with the results. After that I began farming my wheat so that I could use it to breed my animals and make some bread. With some of the wheat I farmed from yesterday I made a lot of bread. After that I went to the villager farmer I had and placed down a lot of beds and gave the bread to the villagers so that they could breed. I also stole this lectern. From day 68 to 70 I kept on trying to trade with the villagers in search of that magical mending book. I was having no luck at all and I was getting frustrated, but eventually it happened. 24 emeralds for a mending book. I was through the moon and I could not be happier. Day 71 was when the grind for emeralds officially began. I began farming my wheat so that I could finally trade my wheat for emeralds, and as well as that I also farmed my sugarcane so I could get those paper trades. I then made all the sugarcane I farmed into paper. On day 72 I began trading with villagers and my emerald count just kept on racking up. I also stole some wheat from the desert village so I could then trade them in for emeralds. And it was then when I got the mending book. I was over the moon. I spent the start as day 73 digging for some sand so I could finally make some TNT to mine some netherite. I also made some beds just in case the TNT ran out, and after that I went down to the caves to mine for some obsidian. I then crafted a shield and had to enter through the gates of hell to face the nether one more time. From days 75 to 78 I'm in the nether and I get some nether wart and some soul sand so that I can make some potions. I also made another portal so I had an easier way to get back to the overworld. And then after that I placed a bunch of TNT at y equals 15 and began my hunt for some netherite. I then ran out of TNT so I resorted to using my beds. Day 79 I decided to return back to the safety of the overworld only to realise I was really far away from home. Water was surrounding all four of my sides and I knew this would be a very long trip. On day 80 I finally made it back home and the first thing I did was go and make some netherite. I then extended my farm so that I could finally have a farm for nether wart. I then smelted some sand so I can make some bowls. I then filled up those bowls with some water so I can make some potions. On day 81 I made some blaze powder so I could use it on my brewing stand to make some potions of strength. I then used some glowstone dust to make them potion of strength too. After that I fixed up my enchantment room mainly because I realised that you only needed 2 blocks high of bookshelves. From days 82 to 89 I made a smithing table so I could finally convert my diamond tools into netherite. I also mined some gold mainly because I needed one more to make a full netherite ingot, and then after that I started working on my XP farm. With the gold I got, I made my second piece of netherite ingot, and then after that I enchanted my diamond pickaxe with mending and turned it into netherite. After that I made 3 water buckets since I needed to use them in my XP farm, and then after that I made an infinite source of water so I didn't have to go up every time, and then after that I just continued working on my XP farm. After my XP farm was finished, I began grinding for that XP. And then the final thing I did was go and enchant my bow. On day 90 I made my axe into netherite, and then after that I made a lectern so I can go and get a sharpness book. I then also sheared my sheep and farmed my wheat, and then also farmed my sugarcane. With the sugarcane I got, I turned it all into paper. I then used the paper to trade it with my librarian to get some emeralds, and then I traded all my wheat for emeralds. On day 91 I killed some of my sheep to get some wool and some cooked mutton. I then made another iron axe. After that I kept on refreshing my librarian's trade so I could finally get a sharpness book. I then got a looting 3 book, but since I didn't want to get rid of it I just made another lectern and continued. And then it happened, I finally got a sharpness 2 book. After that I got some gravel so I could finally make a fletching table so I could trade my sticks in for some emeralds. Day 93 I got a trade with just 32 sticks for an emerald and I could not let this pass up. So I spent the rest of the day chopping down a bunch of trees so I could finally have enough sticks to get that sharpness 2 book. By the end of the day I used all my logs and made them into wood so that I could then make them into sticks, and boy I got a lot of sticks. I then traded all my sticks for emeralds, and let's just say I am now officially loaded on emeralds. As nighttime fell I killed a bunch of phantoms so I could get phantom membrane so I could finally make potions of slow falling. On day 94, I used 24 of my hard-earned emeralds to get myself a mending book, and then used the rest of my sticks to get the rest of the emeralds so I could finally buy that amazing sharpness 2 book. I then brewed 2 sets of potions of slow falling in preparation for the Ender Dragon fight. I then enchanted my Netherite axe with sharpness and mending. I spent day 95 enchanting my diamond chestplate and diamond boots to get the enchantments that I really wanted. I then took all my valuables and set out on the journey to find the end portal. I spent the next few days searching for the stronghold, and then it happened. As I was digging down, I felt the mossy cobblestone hit my legs and I knew where I was. As I made my way through the stronghold, I found the room. I was only moments away from reaching the depths of the end. I quickly put down the ender pearls, and as the final one hit, it loomed over me. I could die, and all of this would have come to an end. I then held my breath and made my way into the end portal. I was in the end. I then bridged onto the mainland and I was surrounded with Endermen. I was scared for my life. But I would not let that distract me. I knew my main goal was to kill that Ender Dragon and get that dragon egg, so I continued picking off each and every end crystal to finally kill the Ender Dragon. And then it happened. As I flinged my bow back and destroyed the last ender crystal, I knew the Ender Dragon was vulnerable. So I spent the next couple of minutes fighting the Ender Dragon till its death, and eventually it happened. One final shot and the whole Ender Dragon was gone. I was somehow attacked with Endermen. Confused, I put down my water bucket as I stared over the sky to see the Ender Dragon fall down into pieces. As I looked behind me, I was confronted with the dragon egg, lying above the pool of XP. I quickly took my water bucket and I made my way over to the pool of XP. I then started collecting all the XP and I was gaining dozens of XP per second. I was so excited. By the time I was done collecting all the XP, I was over 65 levels. I then looked at the dragon egg, and as I hit it, it teleported. I knew I had to get this dragon egg and put it on a statue somewhere on the overworld, so that's exactly what I did. I then mined under it and put a torch under so that I could finally collect the one and only dragon egg. He then fell onto the torch and landed in my inventory. It was finally over. As I looked at the portal leading to the overworld, I held my breath and jumped in. As I spawned into the overworld, the remaining XP landed in my inventory. I was above 70 levels now. I quickly made my way back home and I was so excited to see my horse, and I hope he was as well. I then saw my animals, but they thought differently. They were terrified to see me for some reason. After that, I took my dog for a little walk and gave him some treats. I then knew that I needed some place to store my dragon egg, so that's exactly what I did on day 100 as I built a waterfall to store my dragon egg on. And that was it. I stared into the horizon as I saw the sunset. The 100 days was finally coming to an end. So if you guys did enjoy watching this video, then consider subscribing. It's completely free, and I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot more I want to do to this world. So if you guys want to see 200 days, then make sure to comment down in the comment section below. But yeah, that was it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.